All right, Mr. Ishak, welcome back. I'm just going to wait a while. We had about 10 participants in the last meeting. I'm just going to wait till we have up to that number so that we can all start on the same page. Okay. We have 3 participants. Still waiting for the complete number. We had 10 initially, so I'll just keep waiting till we achieve the number and at least maybe 75% of that number, and then I'll get back to where we were when we left off. Please, I would like you all to kindly help me notify in the groups that the meeting is ongoing and let participants know that they should kindly rejoin the meeting. Please help me forward that message on the chat box, on the chat rooms on WhatsApp. Help me let them know that the meeting is back online, and then the participants that we had should kindly rejoin the meeting. Okay, we still have 3 participants. Do I proceed? I'd like to get a feedback. If I should proceed, just type proceed in the chat box, and we will go on without the rest of them, and then they meet us along the line. I think I'm just going to proceed. Now, earlier in the last meeting, I was talking about Skyway going on the stock exchange market. Now, the current price of share for Skyway is several times lower than the nominal. And what is the nominal? The nominal is the price that this same share will be when Skyway is listed on the stock exchange market. At the moment, we are buying Skyway for several times less. And let me show you what that means. Very quickly, let me just share my browser with you and then show you 1 or 2 things on my browser so that you can get a picture of what we are trying to convey. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you a particular information about the ex-Anambra State governor who missed out on an opportunity to purchase the pre-IPO equity shares of Zoom Communication. Now, you can see this news clipping from Punch newspaper, where Peter Obi admitted to losing out of investing in Zoom Communication. In that particular news clipping, which was published on the 26th of July 2020, Peter Obi said the investment, let me highlight that, the investment was less than 30 cents, an opportunity he should have seized with both hands. Less than 30 cents, that means that if he had invested $1,000, $1,000 divided by 30 cents would have given him 3,333 Zoom shares. 3,333 Zoom shares. Now let us see how much Zoom is currently selling in the stock exchange market. Let's see the current share price of Zoom telecommunication share. Zoom share price, let's just see that information on the NASDAQ stock exchange. We can see Zoom is currently trading today at $329.95 per share. $329.95 per share. Those of you with a calculator close to your hand, you see Peter Obi had the opportunity to buy this thing in 2015 for 30 cents, and it's currently selling for $329.95. Now, we agree that if he had invested $1,000, he would have gotten 3,333 Zoom shares. Multiply that by the current price of 329.95 US dollar per share. It means that what Peter Obi would have bought for $1,000 as at 2015 is currently worth 1,099,723.35 US dollars. If we should now convert that to Naira, that would be 549,861,675 Naira. Something he would have bought for 30 cents in 2015. Is anybody getting the picture? So when this thing we are buying now, these Skyway shares we are buying so cheap, so affordable, so next to nothing, when it gets to the stock exchange market, it will skyrocket. Let me show you one thing. Look at this particular chart. Zoom shares, you can see where it is currently. April 16, 2021, 329.95 US dollar. Look at when Zoom entered the market. Zoom entered the market at the price of 72.47 US dollar. Can you see that? I hope you can see where my mouse is at. That's the first entry of Zoom into the stock exchange market. It entered the stock exchange market at 72.47 US dollar per share, which means even if Peter Obi had only held on to his shares for just the point where they entered the stock exchange market, he would have still been making a whooping profit. And you can see that in April 30th, 2019, when they entered the stock exchange market, so this very date, which is April 16, 2021, let's calculate how many years. From 2019 April, that's 2020 April makes it a year, and then 2021 April, this makes it almost 2 years. This is 30th of April, and this is 16th of April. So you can see in just like a space of 2 years, this thing has moved from $72 it entered the market at to $329 current market price. You can see that this is asset we're buying, and Zoom video communication is a software. It has no hardware. They don't make or manufacture any physical facility. They just create the software for teleconferencing. And yet, look at how much they are selling in the stock exchange market. Now, how much more Skyway? Skyway that is developing physical assets, physical tracks, physical vehicles, physical solutions, things that you can see and touch, physical infrastructure. Let me quickly show you another company which is closer as a relative to Skyway, and that is the company called Tesla. Many of you know Tesla because Tesla is very popular due to the fact that the founder, Elon Musk, is a very popular guy in the space of electric vehicle manufacturing. You can see right here where my mouse is at, where they talk about Tesla. Let me just highlight it for those who are not seeing what I'm looking at. Look at where I'm highlighting, where this thing in blue. You can see Tesla is an American electric vehicle and clean energy company based in Palo Alto, California. So Tesla makes electric vehicle. That's the fact I want to establish. Now, let us look at Tesla share value. As of when they entered the market in June 30th, 2010, they entered the market at $4.77. $4.77, not even up to $5. This is just 10 years later, 2021, April. The year is barely 4 months old, and they are selling at $739.78 US dollar. Now let's run the calculation. If you had invested $1,000 into Tesla as at 2010, at the price of $4.77 per share, you would have been getting, if you had invested just a mere $1,000, you would have been getting $1,000 divided by 4.77 would have given you 209.6 shares of Tesla. As of today, when the shares are selling at $739.78 US dollar per share, your share will be worth, if you multiply them by the current price, your share will be worth, just give me a minute, let me punch that into my calculator and give you the figure. Your shares will be worth $155,090. the shares you would have bought would have been worth this amount. And then when you convert it, if you live in Nigeria, if you convert that back to Naira, we're talking about 77,545,073 Naira. So this is the amount of value you could expect. It's tremendous increase. It's tremendous returns on investments. And this is not to mention the fact that you are already enjoying dividends, which will be paid to you quarterly, just because you own shares in this company. Now, this is what we mean when we talk about the company going on the stock exchange market. The current price is many times lower than what it will be when the company goes public. So the time to buy the Skyway shares is not when they go public. It is now that they are very cheap. I hope I'm communicating. Am I making sense? If you are getting the picture, just kindly drop a message in the chat box. I will read that when I'm done with this presentation. Now, going on, how do you invest in Skyway? How do you legally formalize an investment transaction in Skyway String Transport? You do it through the Skyward community website, the SWC website. You first of all register as a member on the Skyward community website. You verify yourself as a physical entity with your verification documents, your identity card, and a utility bill to prove your location. When you've registered and verified your account, you can now look through the investment offers available and pick the one that's most suitable to you, and then make your payment. Now, when you invest, you have the option of signing a special requirement, which is called the convertible loan agreement, or not signing that requirement. Should you decide to sign that requirement, you will be getting shares in your ownership. That's to say, you are giving them your money in exchange for shares of the company. You are giving them in exchange for the shares of the intellectual property of Uniski String Transport Technology. That is what you want. You want to buy shares with them. But if you do not sign the requirement, it means you are giving them your money as a loan for them to develop the technology they are developing. And then they will hold on to it for 3 years and return it back to you with a profit of 4% or with a 4% interest. So it's a win-win situation. Whether you are signing the requirement and getting shares, it's a win for you. If you are still afraid that maybe they wouldn't do well, maybe their shares will be worthless, you can decide to just offer them the money as a loan. Instead of the money sitting in your bank, give it to them, let them use it, and then return it back to you with an interest. And they will definitely return it back to you with an interest. So you can do that if you are too afraid of the risk involved in owning shares because you don't know if this venture capital project will be successful or not. Now, there are several investment offers from which you can choose from. We have special offers, and they include the InnoTrans offer, the Quick Start offer, and then we have the Kid and the Student offer. These ones are meant for people who are less than 18 years old. These are the ones you buy for your children as a gift. So you can actually invest for your children. You are a parent here and you are trying to secure your child's future. You are paying school fees every term because you want them to have a bright future. You are paying for them to get an education. You are paying for them to get a good education so that they can get good jobs and make good money. Why don't you just take some of that money and put into investing for their future? Buy something that will be worth so much more by the time they finish university in the next 10 years. Buy them Skyway shares now that they're in kindergarten. Before they finish university in the next 10 years or 20 years, they will be most grateful to you for investing for them. Many of us invest in the education of our children, which is a wonderful thing, but why not invest in their future on a financial level? Your children are not too small to have some kind of stake in their name. Your children are not too big. The children of our counterparts abroad, they open trust funds for their children. Here in Africa, what do? Some of us even give debt to our children to inherit. Some children are born into houses where they have to go and hawk and then bring money home, and their parents will collect the money from them. We're just talking about realities, but then you can be different. You can invest for your children by buying them the pre-IPO equity shares of Skyway String Transport Technology. We have other offers like the offers in installments. We have offers from $50,000, which you can pay for in 10 months, paying a gradual amount of $5,000 per month. We have offers that you can pay for up to, from the installment of $50,000, we have up to the installment of $250, which you can pay for in installments of $25 per month. So you have the option to, in fact, let me just give you a secret. When I started buying Skyway shares in 2019 March, I started with this offer, this one here called the start offer. As at that time, the discount was higher and the start offer was going to give you 7,000 shares. Let me see if I can share that particular, my share certificate. Let me see if I can share it with you so that you can see that my very first purchase of Skyway shares, I was getting 7,000 shares by investing $250. Let me see. These are some of my share certificates. Let me see if I can get that particular share certificate. Okay, this is not opening very well here. I don't even know which one it is. You can see I have several share certificates because I bought a number of times. I bought shares a number of times with Skyway. So I have more than one. I'm continuing to buy because this is not all I wish to own. And my target is, my soft target is 500,000 shares. And my hard target is 1 million shares. I'm hoping to achieve this before Skyway goes public. And you can set your own targets and then work gradually to achieving them, because anything is possible as long as you are willing to. Okay, this is a certificate for 96,000 shares. I'm looking for a particular certificate, which is the first time I bought Skyway shares, the very first amount of shares I bought in Skyway. It was 7,000 shares. This is a different certificate, not the one I'm looking for. So 7,000 shares for 7,000 shares for $250. Why I'm trying to show you this is because I just want you to be aware of the fact that as Skyway moves from one stage to the other, from one stage of development to the other, the discounts on those shares are reducing. So if you are waiting to buy Skyway shares, you're not doing yourself any kind of favor. You're actually going to be buying them with a lesser discount if you buy them when they move to a higher stage. Let's say stage 15, for instance. I can't even find the certificate I'm looking for. But anyways, let me get back to the presentation without wasting too much of our time. I am just going to go back to sharing that presentation screen, and I'm going to continue that presentation till I get to the end. I'm sorry that I have digressed more than once from that presentation, but it is very meaningful digression. It is very meaningful digression because these are things that are meant to enlighten you so that you can make a decision and then take this business of Skyway investments very seriously. So as I said, we have several offers in installments, and then we have other offers that you can pay outrightly. These ones are what we call the basic investment offers. Investment for all budgets, and you can choose several packages from here and then pay at once. So you can see we have packages from $150,000 to, we have the list package of $50. And what you do here is that when you pick a package, you can actually just click on the plus icon and select a number of that package. You can select 5 or 10 or 20 or how much you want to buy. And then you go, you check out and pay for the amount of shares you want. And after you've done that, a certificate will be created for you and your name will be registered into the register of owners of this technology. As the project moves to a new stage of development, the discount reduces, which is what I was trying to say when I was trying to show you the certificate I got for the purchase of Start $250 package, which gave me 7,000 shares as of 2019. But for now, you are not getting 7,000 shares because the discount has reduced. You are getting 5,750 shares. After the final stage of development, you will no longer be able to become a co-owner of this technology. You can only invest in targeted projects at that point. So, in summary, invest today. I already told you about Peter Obi, who lost the opportunity of investing in Zoom shares and how today he regrets that opportunity. You should not be like this man. The opportunity of a lifetime should be seized within the lifetime of that opportunity. So invest in Skyway and join the project that has been developed in Belarus and in the United Arab Emirates. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the presentation. It's now time for questions and answers. So if you have any questions, drop them in the chat box and I will happily respond. So this section will take We'll be committing 10 minutes to this section. Drop your questions in the chat box. I'm just going to be looking in the chat box. And if you have a question, drop it as a chat message in the chat box. I'll respond as best as I can to whatever questions you may have. Ask me anything. This is the point to bombard me with questions, and I will respond as best as I can. I can see we have just 4 participants on the group. We have Lady Trish, Mr. Ishiak, Miss Abibos. I don't know if it is Abibos. Your name is saying Abibos Global. But if any one of you have any questions, please let us know. If you do not have any question, just write no questions and we'll know you have no questions. So if I see that everyone in this meeting has no questions, I would wrap up the meeting and we would see each other next week. So if you do have a question, write the question in the chat box. If you don't have a question, write no question in the chat box so that I can proceed. Okay. Thank you very much for that correction, Mark. And thank you for the feedback. So Lady Trish, do you have a question? Mr. Ishak, do you have a question? Or do we call it a night? I'm waiting for your feedback. Okay, I guess that would mean that there are no questions. So we can call tonight's meeting to a conclusion. Thank you all for participating. Thank you, Lady Trish. Thank you, Mr. Ishiak. Thank you, Miss Abibos. And until we see each other again next week, keep buying Skyway shares, build Skyway, save the planet.